My next guest is an odd movie success story. It's something of a phenomenon. He waited for 20 years for a sort of historical accident to happen where 14 so-called more acceptable directors turned down a script for a movie called MASH. And you know the rest because you know about MASH's spectacular success. He was the 15th director they came to. And it won the Academy Award. It was nominated for Academy Award, and it was chosen as Best Film at the Cannes Film Festival, Best Film of 70 by the National Society of Film Critics, and so on. He's also done Rooster McCloud and A Cold Day in the Park and the new McCabe and Mrs. Miller, a movie that came out and almost died and then was brought back suddenly in a curious way. We welcome the 15th man asked to direct MASH, Mr. Robert Altman.
Wrote that song.
Your son wrote that song?
When he was 14. Suicide is painless.
What? That's a strange... Was that the title? Did he think of the title as well?
Yeah. I didn't hire him.
Yeah.
He came in one day with a guitar and he says, "Hey, you want to hear this song?" And I said, "Yeah." And he played it, and I called Johnny Mandel, who was doing the music for the picture, and I said, because he was around when we were making it, and I said, "You take this over, because if I do it, I'm going to commit a serious act of nepotism." And Mandel says, "I'm going to use it." Now he's got so much money. He's 16. He's living with a 20-year-old girl in Venice.
Shocking.
In Venice?
In Venice?
That's really a scandal.
That is. Well, that is true. Those figures are correct. The 15th director that...
I don't know how many, but
something like that.
Something like that.
How do you explain that? That's always happening in Hollywood.
Nobody has any confidence.
No one has any confidence.
No, they have a list. In other words, everybody who starts to make a picture, they're going to make a deal, and they say, "Okay, we're going to get Kubrick for this, or Lean," and they can't find those guys. And they say, "Well, listen, we'll get Arthur Penn."
Yeah.
And they get a list, and then they get down to da-da-da-da, and then finally they got down to me. And I read the material and lied and said I really thought it was good, and agreed to do it, and did it, and made millions of dollars.
But you thought it was
for them.
For them, yeah. Did you think it was junk when you read it?
No, I thought it was. No, it was, and it wasn't that. I'd been working on another project for about 5 years of my own that I could never get off the ground, which was a World War I thing. And when I read this, I saw a chance to do the same thing, the same style of shooting, the same way of doing it in this material. So I said, let's do it, and we did.
And the rest is history, as they say in corny documentaries. We have a piece from MASH here. Do you want to look at it, or would you rather talk?
Oh, I'd love to look at it.
Okay, good.
I haven't seen it for a long time.
You haven't seen it?
Last time I saw it was in German. I didn't understand it.
Okay. Here we go. I read somewhere that you filmed some rehearsals of that because something good was happening between Sutherland and Gould. Did you use any of that in the actual picture?
Toward this part of the film you saw was just the end of our shooting schedule. We couldn't have gone many more days. And
why?
Well, we were losing control. I mean, everything was crazy. And I couldn't get them we couldn't hear anything in rehearsal, so we'd have to say, okay, we're shooting. And we would have to shoot in order to get a rehearsal. And that would the reality would calm them down, and maybe we would shoot it again, and sometimes we used it.
But that's the atmosphere you like, as opposed to, say, someone like Ingmar Bergman, who's very...
Well, he's got more control than I am. It gets away from me somehow.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good atmosphere. I like it.
That's what, the guy that did the ants, he had that same problem. They got away from him.
You think ants would be easier to work with than some actors?
I look forward to giving an Academy Award someday to a queen termite.
I wonder if the queen will be up for anything this year. You're the kind of person that I can't imagine that I have anything in common with. I hope that doesn't upset you or want you to end your career, but I mean by that, every article I read about you, they always talk about how you can stay up all night, you can drink a lot, fool around, drinking and smoking and talking and having all these people around. You just fell asleep. Okay. And then go right to work the next morning. With maybe 4 or 5 hours sleep. This is the absolute opposite of me. And yet I've turned out a lot of wonderful movies. No, but you know what I mean. I mean,
Well,
it's a silly comparison, but I often wonder
I
what it
have-
is about the metabolism of somebody that can do that.
Well, I'm afraid of the dark, for one, so I don't like to sleep alone.
Are you putting me on now?
No,
Are
I'm
you-
serious. I mean, I'm not as afraid as I used to be, which
Yeah?
accounts for my number of children and marriages. And then I have these terrible dreams. So,
A terrible what?
dreams.
Terrible dreams?
Yeah, I dream really weird things. So if I can stay awake,
Yeah.
it just works a lot better for me. So I've taught myself to do that.
But it's such a strange. I could never do it. If I don't get enough sleep, it's one of those things. I don't know how people
I don't
do
have
that.
to look good. See?
You don't. If you were an actor, maybe you
Yeah.
couldn't get away with that. Do you admire Bergman, even though you're so different in any way?
I don't know him, but and I don't. He has the same problems I have. It's impossible to make films. I mean, in front, we know that, and he makes them, and I've made a couple.
How do you mean that? It's impossible to make films.
Well,
and
it's
yet
on paper. It's an impossible accomplishment because you've got so many things going, so many people, so much, and I don't know how it gets done. Except a lot of people cooperate and you don't know they're cooperating. They cooperate on a level that they seem to argue on top, but underneath it's like inside of those anthills. I
Yes.
guess it's all getting done.
Yeah. Do you get any kick now out of the fact that you're a hot director, and there are all those years when people wouldn't expectorate on you?
Oh yeah,
Do you?
Yeah.
How does that come out?
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, there's only two ways it can be. I mean, MASH causes me a lot of problems. I had a film, Brewster McCloud, in the film festival at San Sebastian, and everybody was saying, "Oh, it's going to win everything," and it didn't win anything. And later, King Vidor was on the jury. Says all these guys said that it just wasn't as good as MASH, and I said, "Well, MASH wasn't in the contest, but as far as it was, we got nothing because of that." But I'd
Yeah,
rather
it's
rather have this problem than the other one.
Than the one of all those years.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is there anything good about failure, though?
yeah.
What?
If you learn to be comfortable in it, maybe you can handle the success a little longer.
It's interesting.
Well, do you think that it's because you were talented that they wouldn't hire you all those years?
No, I think that I don't know why they wouldn't hire me. They just didn't believe me.
Right.